You guys want to paint a mural with me? Just like everything else, all problems can be fixed and solved. Hey, so this is a story of my first mural. I'm going to share every juicy tip and trick that I learned along the way with you, of course. I'm actually new to painting in general. I took my first painting class last year, but I've been teaching myself how to paint ever since. I've probably done like 12 paintings max in my entire life, and somehow I went from that to let's paint a mural. Cheers to my bold girls. Anyway, the point of all of that is subject matter matters. I know that I can paint fruit, and so I decided to go with fruit. I need to set myself up for a win because I've never painted a mural before. The size is going to be a challenge for me, and then the fact that I've never used this medium in this way is also going to be a challenge for me. So I wanted the advantage, and fruit was an advantage that I could give myself. I took a picture of the wall that I'm painting, popped that bad boy into Procreate, and I'm just sketching right on that wall to come up with my concept. First thing that I wanted to do was fruit eating tacos because it's so relatable. Everybody loves tacos. Everybody loves fruit. It's a vibe. But it was just too brown. It was too brown for the wall. It wasn't as engaging as I want it to be. If I paint a mural, like I'm thinking I want people to take pictures in front of it. When they see it, I want them to smile. I want it to be gripping and engaging. Like I want it to be an attention grabber. Am I right? And that reminded me of this painting. This is a direct copy of a photograph that I found on Pinterest. I do not own it. It's by a company called Propsyland that sells props that help you take pictures of your product photography. I'll link them in the description box below. So I painted this. Everyone that I showed this painting to had a really positive reaction. I think that's for two reasons. One, pancakes are delicious and delightful, and we can all get behind that. And second is that this color palette is a dream. It makes people happy to look at this. The pinks, the yellows, this is a joy spreader. So I was like, okay, I can set myself up for success in two ways. One, it's fruit, it's delicious, everybody loves it. Two, beautiful colors, popping, saturated, exciting, vibrant, joyful color palette. And that's going to be my win. So first things first, took a picture of my wall, drew my design in Procreate, grabbed my projector and put it on the wall, put it on the wall. If you're having a hard time getting your image properly projected on your wall, try flipping your projector on its side if you're able to. That helped me piece mine together because my room was too narrow to get it appropriately sized, but when I flipped it on its side, I got it. And so that brings us here to nature's most delicious force, my fruit smoothie ocean wave mural. Let's go. Okay, so this is where we're at right now. I have a yellow underpainting happening everywhere except the splash because I just think that I thought the splash was going to have like a lot of white and a lot of lighter pinky colors, and I didn't want that yellow bleeding through. But the rest of the painting, I want it to be like bright and popping and fun and warm and screaming. So if I put a little bit of yellow under there, it's going to help me do that. Pro tip, start at the top so you don't mess up the work you've finished at the bottom by choosing to work up high later in the process. I do the background first for the same reason. I don't want to have to touch up my well-rendered focal points in the foreground. You know, the main squeeze. The reason we're all riding this wave, because I messed it up while painting the supporting background. Another tip for blending gradients is to water down your paint, either in the canister or with a spritz bottle. This makes your paint as blendable as fruit. Okay, that's a little bit gruesome. It keeps your paint wet longer so you have more time to work. I wasn't a fan of the original rusty color at the tippy top, so I switched it out for something a bit more pink and poppin'. And then I preserved my sketch and my lightness by just priming over the areas that would eventually be my splash. Because those areas are so light, I want to preserve the lightness and make sure that they don't get buried underneath these darker, more saturated colors as I work up top. Next, I'm getting the midtones down on my water areas. This will be our base color and set us up to dive into the details. Getting a few of your midtones down on the painting at large is going to help you see and determine how your color story is working out. If I detect problems, I try to take care of them right away because it saves me the anxiety of worrying about future mistakes, future touch up. When I have a doubt, I trust the doubt because it wouldn't be there if the color was right. I'm saying that in a very black and white way, so viewer discretion is of course advised, but you know what I'm saying. Trust your color gut. Welcome to another mural painting day. This is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna add a little bit more depth to this ocean. It needs one more darker color. Just a pop, just a little bit of darker color. We're not gonna go ham. Some mistakes suck more than others to clean up, but just remember in painting, everything, you can just paint over it. So all mistakes can be figured out. When you make a mistake, then you just have to figure out what method of problem solving you're going to use to fix it. That's what all art is. It's not even just painting. I'm telling you what, there's not a single piece of art in the world where the artist sat down and got it all right the first time. Even Picasso, like even his paintings, I don't know. The key takeaway for you is every artist is f***ing up all the time, so you should too. It's how we learn. Welcome to my color mixing table. You have arrived. I have labeled my colors here, deeper ocean colors, and I've put them in these little pots as I've mixed them. I like these. I got these off Amazon. Really useful. 100% recommend labeling them though, because there's no way once you get in there that you'll really remember it. I was having a hard time getting the colors right for this ocean, and so I just started swatching them here. That way I could get an idea of how they interact together before putting them on my artwork and forking it up. The other goal is going to be to get the base color down on all the squiggles. The majority of the background is done, so now I can finally start working on the fruit. The first coat is dry to the touch on the pineapple, so I'm getting my blueberries going. I initially wanted some cranberry hues to show through, but they got lost in the detailing process, and I just let it go because battle selection, you feel me? My goal here is to make these look nice and spherical, and when that's done, I'll pop back over to my pineapple flotation device. This pineapple is holding me hostage. It is winning the painting game right now. I primed the mud zones with a light yellow paint before going in with my new final color. You can see that I've pre-mixed, swatched, and allowed that to dry as a test before moving forward. I used a lighter yellow on the sunny side and a darker yellow on the shadow side, and I started using orange to mix the deeper yellow instead of brown or black for obvious reasons. The white highlights on the sunny side really help the pineapple pop. For the raspberries, I layered the mid-tone and an almost watercolor-like mixture of the darker shadow color until each bulbous bubble looks nice and 3D. Then I followed that up with a watered down glaze of white for the highlight, just layering that up and always maintaining the direction of the light. Bam! That's a win on the raspberries. And they look better in real life. Okay. I'm quickly getting the base of my strawberry done using reds, oranges, and yellows to create a juicy, dynamic depth. Then I'm taking a break from my fruit and working on the splash. I added some depth and highlight to the base that makes it look like the water is splashing right at us. Oh, hey there. Do you like my painting? So here she is in all of her beautiful glory. Look at that pretty girl. I do have to say I'm proud. Obviously the strawberry is left. That's something that I need to work on, but I'm not gonna work on it right now. I ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna do the splash. You know what? Come here. Let me show you something. Okay, so I've never painted waves before. This is my first time painting water in living memory, which is fine. It just means that you just have to figure it out. By the way, half of the battle of art is just figuring it out. Okay, if you could please turn your attention to these colors here. Here. It's too much. So another thing that an artist has to do is rein themselves in and edit. And this front splash portion of the painting can be somewhere where my viewer's eye can rest on a otherwise extremely saturated and visually pleasing painting. Basically, I need to take this down to kind of just simple white and light pink that's going to match. There's already enough visual interest and depth established here at the bottom that we can keep it simple up here, which is honestly going to make my life easier. And again, I'm not going to have to deal with these kind of like muddy bits and pieces not looking cute. So this is a really good tip for if you're painting a mural, especially. I mean, maybe for all art, but definitely if you're painting a mural, just because of the size of the situation. When you're painting or experimenting with something new or trying something that you've never done before, do it in a small area. If I had kept this coloring just on this one area, the mistake that I have to fix right now would be so much easier to fix. But instead, and like, it's like I knew I was doing it while I was doing it. But in the moment, it looked really pretty. And I was like, oh, I couldn't make myself stop. It was like a compulsion. I'm just here to say, please stop yourself. Make sure that you stop. Trust me, you're going to love it in the end. I promise. Anyway, let's get to it because I have so much to do. And it's going to be pretty. Doesn't it feel so good the second it is right? So I went around to all of these spots on the water, mixing a white into the center, into a light peachy pink on the edges so that these spots look rounded and bulbous, making sure to blend them into the base of the wave that I've already created because I really liked that. While I'm at it, I added a highlight to the sunny side of all of my splashes up top, and that leads us to the strawberry. Y'all, this thing just about whipped my tail from here to next Tuesday. It had many faces and facelifts. It caused me to take several days off, but we persevered by dulling down the tiny seed details on the shadow side and making the ones on the sunny side way more orange than yellow. I also used oranges and yellows rather than a white glaze to create a highlight on the strawberry skin. All we have left to do before we cross the finish line is paint this tiny shark fin. So yes, the tensions were high when this was all that was left before I could say I did it. So that's it, guys. That is my first mural completed. Overall success. I'm really happy with it, and I'm going to paint more murals. I'm going to paint actually a mural on every wall in this room before I paint it one solid color. There's a specific mural that I want to do. It's called. Make sure you subscribe to catch my future murals. I also have several videos coming up where I'm going to teach you how to draw people. I have some really fun things coming up. You're not going to want to miss them. I promise. Subscribe if you're into that kind of thing. Anyway, thank you again for hanging out with me while I paint. I know your ass wants a smoothie now, so you better go get one, and I will see you very soon. Bye.